Hello mate, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I hope you're doing well, mate. I really do hope that. Welcome back to Chelsea News, the daily series, every single day here on the channel where I reflect on what's been said about Chelsea, giving you my opinion on it, more importantly asking for yours, ladies and gentlemen. Lots to get into today. Positive news, many will take it as Nathan Ake not coming, Presnel Kimpembe probably coming, 5 signings after Raheem Sterling, the truth about Levi Colwill, and Conor Gallagher is going to be included in this Chelsea squad. Thomas Tuchel loves him. He loves him. Thank you for joining me. Please do consider dropping a like to show your sweet loving support of this content if you want to do that. You're welcome to subscribe, of course, should you choose to do so. Hit that sweet, sweet bell, baby, so you don't miss a beat. You don't want to miss a beat. You don't want to miss a beat. Off the bat, David Ornstein of The Athletic confirming... I can't be asked to sort out that transition. Never mind. David Ornstein of The Athletic confirming Nathan Ake will remain at Man City amid Chelsea interest. Now, he was a bit of a meh signing, a good defender who's versatile, but would have cost a lot of money and probably not excited that many people due to him having already been a Chelsea player, been sent out on loan, recalled from loan, sold to Bournemouth, had first refusal on a buyback though he went to City, and then coming back again. We sort of accepted, all right, Nathan Ake, good cover. Tuchel's wanted him for a while since Dortmund. Fair enough. I accept it as a signing. But it would have cost a lot of money. Maybe he wouldn't have started, especially if we buy Kimpembe on the left, that left centre-back, Koulibaly on the right, and then Thiago Silva down the middle. That is an incredible back three. Incroyable. Super quality. Although I do have reservations about Kimpembe. Maybe we'll talk about that in a bit. Let's read what Orny says, and we'll go from there. Nathan Ake will remain at Manchester City. The Athletic understands Chelsea had shown strong interest in re-signing the 27-year-old and were hopeful a transfer could be completed. City, however, were never actually looking to sell Ake unless their valuation was met. It is believed that Ake is pleased to be remaining at City, where he is a popular member of the squad. Pause. Yes, probably happy to be staying there as if he's wanted, but it was also reported that he had agreed terms with Chelsea. Maybe he was happy to do either. Come to Chelsea, join the Tuchel revolution, his friend Sterling, maybe thinks he's a successor to Antonio Rudiger. Starting for Chelsea is probably better than being this versatile rotational option at City, but I can also believe he's happy to remain. This will come as good news to a lot of people who were hesitant about this signing. Ake's versatility is crucial to City and represents great strength in depth. And I mean, players at 27 years old, they don't want to be strength in depth. They just, especially when, like, you know, you've played for Chelsea, you've played for big clubs, you don't want to be strength in depth. But fair enough, you can understand from a City perspective why that is helpful. It is understood to be a mutual decision for Ake to remain at City, with the club thought to be happy for him to remain at the Etihad. The potential transfer to Chelsea did not advance because the terms of the deal were not right for City. Again, reiterating, I probably think Ake would have been happy with the Chelsea terms should the move happened. The West London club, meanwhile, are in talks with Paris Saint-Germain over a move for their defender Presnel Kimpembe. Right, Kimpembe, of course, starts for France, starts for PSG, in his prime, or entering his prime, as a defender at 26 years old, left-footed, big and strong. Spoke about him last video. I think he's a bit of a shithouse, so I think he'd probably be a good Chelsea defender in that sense. Does have a mistake in him, and I did just listen to the Football Weekly podcast with Philippe Auclair, French journalist. Probably, almost certainly, knows a lot more about French football than I. He said Tyrone Mings is a better defender than Presnel Kimpembe. And I'm going to be real, that made me worried. Now, this is just one man saying one thing, but that's all it takes sometimes to make me worry. Look, at the end of the day, if there's one thing we should do is trust our guts, and our guts shouldn't say that Thomas Tuchel knows how to coach a defender. He's coached Presnel before, of course, at PSG, and if he wants him, if he thinks he's appropriate, then bring him in! And maybe he's less inclined to do these mistakes in a back three system. In a team that's not as chaotic and silly as PSG. And that's right, PSG is a silly team. I called them silly and I meant it. So, yeah, Presnel Kimpembe at Chelsea may be better than Presnel Kimpembe at PSG. Let's move on. So, Conor Gallagher, really loved by manager Thomas Tuchel. Simon Johnson of The Athletic, tweeting this. It's been a given for months, but Conor Gallagher will be a part of the Chelsea squad this season. Tuchel loves him. And by the way, Simon Johnson is out there in LA at UCLA with the Chelsea squad. Tuchel loves him. He loves Conor Gallagher. He wanted him to stay last season too, but was convinced by the club that Gallagher would be better off playing on loan at Palace for a year, coming back an even better player. He kind of fizzled out in the second half of the season, Gallagher, but he looks like he's built for this Premier League business. High octane, busy, works hard, got a goal in him, got a tackle in him, just gets stuck in, all that lovely stuff that we love over here at Chelsea, mate, do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I feel pretty good about that. I'm going to read a little bit of an article here from Matt Law on The Telegraph talking about Conor Gallagher. Conor Gallagher was hiding behind his girlfriend in a pub to avoid Thomas Tuchel just 3 months ago. But now the midfielder is standing tall in front of Chelsea's head coach after confidently telling him he is ready to play for his boyhood club. Gallagher made his feelings clear in a candid chat with Tuchel and was delighted to hear the German felt the same way. Ooh la la, it's a love story that you love to hear, ladies and gentlemen. Quote, I said to him, I'm ready to play for Chelsea. It was a phone call at the end of the season. Everyone was having some time off, so it was the easiest way to do it. It was like 15 or 20 minutes, and we both got out of the phone call what we needed. It was clear after that. When it was put to Gallagher that his direct style was quite brave, the midfielder added, quote, yeah, I've got some older brothers. If you've got something you want to say, you just ask. Then just ask because managers aren't scary. I think he's like comparing a manager to a big brother. He's saying he's a big, brave boy. They want to talk to their players and they want to know what your thoughts are and what you think. I told him what I thought and he said what he thought. And I think that was the best way to do it. So, yeah, basically, Conor Gallagher called up Tommy Tuchel, was like, look, mate, I want to play for Chelsea. I'm very good now. And but by all accounts, it was well received by the Chelsea manager. He wasn't like, don't you come over here calling me up, giving it the big in land. I think he was like, I like your balls. Join my squad. Have you seen it? Showing my age there, talking about Team America World Police, that film, like, I like your balls. Anyway. I'm in my 30s. Ben Jacobs talking about Levi Colwill before we go on and talk about how we're going to sign apparently loads more people. This is an update on the young Chelsea centre-back. And with confirmation that Chelsea are not going to sign Nathan Ake, this probably bodes well for the Chelsea Academy graduate. At Jacobs Ben on Twitter tweeting, my understanding with Levi Colwill is there is no shortage of interest. Southampton and Leicester both rate the 19-year-old. Excuse me. Colwill has not asked for a permanent move. He's not asked for a permanent move. He seeks clarity, though, of his long-term role at Chelsea, or his future at Chelsea. And it's similar to Armando Broja, who, by the way, this is not part of today's video, but apparently Armando Broja spotted in a foot brace on crutches, and he's literally just touched down in LA. So, nicht so gut, mein Bruder. Don't know why I said that in German, but pas très bien, or whatever. The challenge of a lot of big clubs is in providing clear pathways to young talent. From Colwill's perspective, he did it all. He did all he could at Huddersfield. And he did, by the way. I feel like it's really unfortunate that his final game in the playoff final, he scored the own goal. It was really unfortunate because that was the game where he had the most eyes on him, and I don't think that was a fair reflection on his body of work at Huddersfield. To show he's developing into a Premier League centre-back, but Chelsea, they also need instant proven defenders capable of UCL level, which is fair. Like, he's 19 and he's played in the Championship. They're looking at older players that have played in the Champions League. It's different gravy, but you've got to respect the ability and the talent. Fans will naturally say, well, why can't we have both? And hope Chelsea just loan Colwill. That's ideal for the club, but footballers are human, and not all of them want to be kept being loaned out and be put back in the same position next year. A new manager, dressing room, house, etc. can take its toll. Yeah. Oh, I mean, he's done one loan to Huddersfield in the Championship. Sometimes that's enough. It was enough for Reece James, who went to Wigan. Of course, Mason Mount went to Vitesse, then Derby. And, Armando Broja went to Vitesse, then Southampton. Conor Gallagher did 3 bloody loans before he got to this position now. 4? Wait, he did... Well, Swansea and Charlton were in the same season. Then he did West Brom, and then he did Palace last season. So they're earning their stripes, these kids. Do you know what I mean? With Colwill, he's not asked to leave just yet, but with 3 defensive incomings almost certain, that might include a wing-back now and not a centre-back. He wants to understand whether he has a role, not just for this season, before deciding. Told no final decision, though, and he's by no means pushing for the Chelsea exit. He only clarity over his future. Chelsea will get a healthy fee for Colwill if they do sell, just like when Mark Gurhey went to Palace. But I understand there is no further internal and manager-to-player discussion needed before any decision will be taken. There is further discussion needed. Broja is more of a challenge since the Albanian is open to leaving if he isn't given instant game time. Chelsea always wanted to assess in pre-season. Well, dude's in freaking crutches now if that picture was correct, which is no good, trust me. And I'm now doing that. But he's had 2 loans, yeah, that's true, Vitesse and Southampton, and scored 6 EPL goals. Yeah. But plus there's a high level of interest. Chelsea genuinely haven't made their mind up on what approach to take with either player. And that's normal given how early we are in pre-season. But a key point with young talent is to remember is not only what the club wants. Some young players are happy to wait because they believe there is a clear first team pathway. But many clubs, not Chelsea specific, are vague at offering roadmaps and can influence a young player's decision. Well, Chelsea are certainly a lot more clearer pathway into the first team since the Lampard era than they ever have been. And, I'd include Tuchel in that. Tuchel's talked about the importance of academy players, but it's almost like this clearer pathway has coincided with this new self-belief of players to walk away from Chelsea, where perhaps they felt they were obligated to stay within the loan system. So it's kind of like almost ironic, like just when the pathway opens up a bit more is when players start deciding to leave more. See what I'm saying? Finally, it makes such a big difference to young talent and what they ultimately decide when the manager is approachable and willing to engage. Like the aforementioned story with Conor Gallagher calling him up. Conor called him up and spoke to him. In this case, Tuchel is doing exactly that with Colwill and Broja. More clarity will come in the future, and as the window shapes up, we'll see what happens there. Which leads me on to the final part of the video, because Ben Jacobs also saying Chelsea have 5 signings to follow Raheem Sterling. There was reports 6 signings this window, which seems like a lot, but after Sterling and Kalidou Koulibaly, there's 4 to go. And you could say, like, right, another defender, Presnel Kimpembe, maybe. So that's, 3 to go after that, and maybe wing-back cover, 2 to go, maybe a striker, 1 to go, a midfielder. That if we sign 6 players, that is a lot of new footballers. We'll have to do some outgoings as well, whether that's a Jorginho to Italy. Sounds like he wants to stay. Whether that's, at least a Ziyech to Milan. Or, I don't know, a Timo Werner. I think Pulisic is likely to stay. Maybe a Timo Werner to the Bundesliga still. But you'd think that would be a high-profile sales, high-profile exits. And should that happen, you think you would have heard something bubbling away by now. I'm not sure there's that much money on the continent to execute these type of transfers. I know Chelsea are in a different regime now under Todd Boehly, and it's not Marina trying to maximise every pound she can get from players. Maybe there'll be a bit more of a laissez-faire approach, a bit more liberal, take some more losses just to get a new squad for the first round of transfers under the Boehly-Clearlake regime era. I don't know. Exciting nonetheless, though, and I want to put it out to you guys, so let me know what you think by simply commenting down below in the comment section. Start up the conversation with each other. Thank you for everyone who's interacted, liked, commented and shared. And of course, as I always say, you're welcome to subscribe, but if you do, make sure you hit the bell and turn on all notifications so you don't miss a beat, mate. Alright, see you very soon. Peace.